Orleans. This is the franchise Shane Douglas telling you want to load down the best in professional wrestling. You got to look right here at WGS-TV. Ooh, yeah.
Greetings, YouTube. You have warped way back into WD Plays the Beginner's Guide. I really don't know why this is going on right now. This is the key, how I do achieve with no effort. Well, let me tell you right now, it isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. If you are torturing yourself to find the right solution, then you're not... If you are torturing yourself trying to find the right solutions for your life, then you're not doing it right. Seek out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path forward? There is no truth. There is no path. Do what is easiest. Do what is simplest. Feel what is true. Nothing. No one.
I fell pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days. This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please. In the scene, you will be playing as me. We're all at a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out leaning against this wall. Good, stay right there. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Hello? Sorry, I have to leave. Where's the bathroom? Hello? Hello? That's it? That's not a conversation. You need to actually converse with her. Be a human being. Do it again. I'm super scared right now. No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one, but I was confident. Maybe this time you need a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Now talk to her again. What are some of the sacrifices you had to make? You're messing it up all again. You'll freak her out of the conversation against that person that quickly. Do you not realize how important this was for me? I'll never get another opportunity like this again. Everything was riding on this. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. What's going on? It's almost a prison. Okay, yes, now this is working. This is what
ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution, social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Kota is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Kota's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Kota went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Playing this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Help, I'm blind. Please someone talk to me?
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Wait. Whisper? I think I might have the solution. The only way to speak this is to speak something truthful. So we gotta...
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say and keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Kota where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Hello? Where did this island come from? It's almost like every time you... Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. When I'm trying to create, I feel empty. Oh no. What happened? Did something change? I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it to know why it stopped.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Alright, I'm pushing the wrong button. Alright, we're back outside. You have to open the door. Okay, now what? Alright, what's next?
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
I hear crying. Why did the walls just crumble? Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about, and I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
I am glad to see you arrive safely. We've captured the machine that's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be quick. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda.
And of course, it's the machine.
My friends, I have a troubling revelation. The machine will not apologize to us. But it is that this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. Let us show that that we are not failures. Follow me, we will destroy the machine. It's the stage. The gun?
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work? So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of. Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look. And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it.
Whoa!
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press the Use key on your gamepad, and I'll put a bridge over the maze. And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
I would think the invisible maze would be the walls that he's put himself in. That's what I would think. There's the numbers.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Alright, so it's 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7. I wonder if that number has any meaning to him, to Coda. Yeah, you just feel so alone in this game.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game?
I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why.
Maybe it's because Coda kind of, I would think, kind of cut himself off again when he was trying to reach out to him.
I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time. And as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Maybe it was something so personal that he couldn't.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me.
Why would you...
stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed.
You can't really blame yourself for that. You really can't.
Where did I screw up?
You didn't. You did not screw up. You tried to reach out to your friend. You tried to help him. You did not screw up. Dear Davey, thank you for your interest in my game.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
Davey, you shouldn't blame yourself for that. You really shouldn't. You are encouraging him to follow a dream. You shouldn't. You shouldn't feel like that. That's the only thing I can tell you. Because I'm going to email this link to him. He put his email in the beginning of the game. I'm going to email this link to him, and I'm saying this like I'm speaking to you right now, Davey. Cannot blame yourself for what happened. You can't. You tried to reach out to your friend. You did not screw up. It's not your fault.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
Hi, Jennifer Giroux. Thanks for meeting us here. Thanks for taking us on so quickly. Yeah, the faster we get here, the faster we can help stave off panic.
I hear that. What can you tell us more than Universal? It's small, tight-knit.
And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally, for a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Because you were helping a friend. You made games to keep yourself safe, to make yourself feel safe.
Okay, so talk to everyone on the floor and we'll hang out in my room tonight.
Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding the lampposts to them? What is going on?
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing.
Where have you been?
What does that mean?
Curfew's in 5 minutes.
I wish I had an answer for you.
I don't want anyone drinking on the hall. If you do, I'll write you up.
You see, I met Sarah in college, on a campus just like that one 31 years ago. Campuses are supposed to be places of life.
Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of the process.
It's supposed to be about dreams, about nightmares.
The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. I realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks and you make peace with this thing you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
Davey, you shouldn't say that about yourself. Don't say anything.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, And all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
You get your home car back. I guess they don't want you driving around on three-wheelers. Smart.
With Liberty Mutual new car.
What was that? Davey, if there's one thing I can tell you,
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
but you can't fault yourself for this. You can't. Man.
She had her face out, but she didn't use it. And it's well lit. He's not afraid of being seen.
Solution.
Dave, you can't feel bad about this, man. I'm telling you. You want to encourage your friend to pursue a dream. I'm getting a phone call. Hello? No, we're about to come in a couple of minutes. Bye. I do apologize about that. I want to try to quickly finish this game. It's not that I want to.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Funeral services will be held.
You can't fault yourself for wanting to help a friend. You can't. You did what you thought was right.
If any of you would like to visit or pay respects, they
Based only on what you saw.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Actually, it is. The fact that your friend was killed in such a well-lit area with a police presence indicates that the killer is most likely part of this campus. He's not an outsider. We see him in raising police or potential victims.
You should also be aware that the three. So tell me, how am I supposed to keep these women safe?
Add security cameras being installed in virtually every corner of the campus. That's going to be out of the city's budget. It's not the school's. If the killer is part of the campus, he may simply leave once the school shuts down. Classes restart. There's a good chance of killing him.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Did the other victims have this much overkill?
Death was caused by a single very forceful stab wound to the heart.
He broke through the breastbone, and after that, he just lashed out and ran.
What now?
First two victims were the same.
Did you run toxicology screens?
None of the other one, considering that she was standing waiting for a shot.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Don't beat yourself up over this, Davey. Don't. Again, you thought... You did what you thought was right. You thought your friend was crying out for help. And you did what you thought was best for him. And you can't fault yourself for something like that. You cannot fault yourself for wanting to help a friend. I really don't know what else to say at this point. It feels like Davey feels horrible about what he did. Even though technically he wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't doing anything bad. He was doing what he thought was right at the time based on what he saw. And Coda, if you're watching this somehow, man, don't hold it against him. Don't hold it against him that he was trying to be a friend. That he wanted to help you when he thought you needed help. You kind of get what I'm saying? The whisper machine. Give yourself for another life.
You take my breath away. So I thought I'd return the favor.
At Jared, and it's waiting for you. At Jared.
I really don't know what to say here. Look at this.
Turn back,
For our...
turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're so tired, but I know that you're strong. So turn back, turn back.
For data, call speed, and reliability. AT&T got text. Stuck on an average network? Join Verizon. It will cover your cost to switch. Here is big, bold.
Wow. Just wow. That's all I can say. I apologize if this video seemed extremely long, guys and gals, but it had a story to tell, and And it did. To Davey, dude, like I said, don't beat yourself up over something you thought you were doing was right. You can't hold that against yourself. And I don't think Coda should either. And I think both of y'all need to sit down and have a meeting of the minds. You know, have a powwow. That's all I can say. Anyway, guys, that's been the Beginner's Guide. If you have any comments you'd like to make, be sure you put your comments in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. WGS-TV is on social media on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You guys can ask me questions. Links will be provided in the description box below. And as always, guys and gals, I'll have a video in the annotation if you guys want to see more of the Beginner's Guide. So with that being said, I am your friendly neighborhood WrestleGamer, and I will see you at the next Warp Zone. Bye, guys.
Outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. If you really unloaded on this prison idea, there's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas